Yeah, it's a controlled environment, which makes it just, I imagine it just gives you that much more confidence too.
And in the wave pool too, I'm able to try things without major consequences that I wouldn't in the ocean if the same circumstances were presented, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, you don't have to worry about currents sweeping you sideways down the beach, away from your team or your friends, like there's a lot of shit that can go wrong in the ocean, which is great too. Sometimes that's why we like it, but
you know exactly how the wave's going to break. There's no surprise. So everyone knows where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
For if there's a rescue needed or just getting you back on your board or getting you back out, as opposed to the unknown of the ocean.
I think, it'd be cool is like, if you were having a competition like at a Waco style pool or one like in New Jersey where you can really create the different wave settings. And like, if you were competing against someone else, you could be like, all right, you know what? I want to try this wave, the Gotham wave or something like this I want to use. And you can use that into your routine and competition. And like, if the other person doesn't want to, do as critical of a wave, that can give you higher scores potentially. Like you could really play
100%.
around with that. There's a lot of cool things you can do with the format.
I know for sure if there's ever a contest at American Dream, if I don't make the finals, I'm going to get chirped.
Well, Cliff and Will are going to definitely harass you and give you some shit if you don't make a final there. I mean,
so we hope that's in the future plans too. When things come down, I know that Will has spoke to Jesse about possibly holding a Life Rolls On event there, which would be sick.
That'd be amazing.
Just anything for people to be aware of those facilities too, because I think there's a lot of people that surf that still are unsure about wave pools.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's so many.
Just because there's that novelty,
mm-hmm.
and especially for someone in my circumstance, I don't care where it is. If I get to surf, I can't complain.
It's it's interesting. Like I had a couple interesting text conversations with some buddies who are poo-pooing wave pools and especially the one in Jersey. And I'm like, dude, like I was telling him how when we showed up, you were there with the other adaptive surfers as well. And I'm like, it's fucking awesome. Like the fact that you have this playground basically, and it makes it accessible more so than ever before. Like I think it's phenomenal. And just, God, it's like so much fun.
It's not to say, like, I love surfing in the ocean too, but being able to dictate what type of wave I want,
mm-hmm.
being able to surf no matter what the conditions are outside is something that I'm never going to take for granted. Like, it's unbelievable that this is a resource that's available to us. And I'm lucky enough to have the relationship with the people that I do that are involved in it to have the access to it. So I'm not sure if there's some jealousy too, because obviously the wave pools can get expensive.
Yeah, but if you break it down, it's like $750 a wave. It's not that bad.
Yeah. So, but like, I've been able to surf it pretty much more than I could ask for.
Mm-hmm.
And each time there's something new that's more fun, and just being able to spend more time in the water when that may not necessarily be a possibility for me in the ocean is something that I don't think people realize too.
I think it's really cool, and I think there's so much potential, and I think, gosh, like if we can like Like, yeah, if you, I mean, gosh, like it'd be cool if you started organizing contests in wave pools, even. Like, that's something you could do. Like, that would be freaking awesome.
That's something that I would love to do because I'm, like you said, especially for adaptive surfing, I'm a big believer in what that technology can do for everybody to enjoy the sport of surfing, regardless of whatever else may go into their participation.
Gosh, yeah. I'm like, my head is kind of spinning right now thinking of all the different formats you can do too, because you can really play with it. You can play so much with how you do the formatting of the competition and, you know, the scoring and everything like that. Like it's, yeah, like, that's pretty freaking awesome.
There's a wave there, the shotgun. It's one of the airwaves.
Yes.
That Cliffy likes to launch me on. We can't necessarily do that in the ocean.
No.
And some of those shots that I've gotten at American Dream on that shotgun wave where you like see the slide in the background and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Those are insane.
And you get barreled too. Like that barrel must be that barrel is probably better for you than it is for me, I think. You know, like I can barely 100%. Fit into it, you know? And for you, it's like perfect.
I tell everybody all the time, if it's 4 foot, that's perfect. If it's 4 foot and offshore, I'm never going to complain. Because you got to remember, I'm laying down.
It's always overhead.
So, yeah, 100%. And that barrel, it's called the Vortex. It's like that every single time. And Willie and whoever may be operating the controls will make fun of me because they'll ask me, what wave do I want? And I'll just keep telling them, give me Vortex, give me Vortex.
Well, I don't blame you for that. I mean, gosh, that's all we ever want to do is get barreled. So, God, I mean, like, so I want to ask, I got to ask this, and I know that how you came to this, but Surfing Samurai, how did you come about that name for our listeners here?
So, if you guys look at some of my photos, when I'm in the water, my hair is pulled back and it's put up in a bun, much what a samurai would look like. And then I guess the fact that I have no fear in the water is where everything kind of just fit, because a samurai can't have any fear when they're going into battle.
It's a warrior spirit you have.
So, and there's a lot of people who know me through surfing that have no idea what my real name is.
It's just the Surfing Samurai. Just call you.
Yeah. So that's cool too. And like, I'm not from Long Beach, and Long Beach has embraced me as one of their own, which doesn't always happen. No. And people know that when they go there, like, you may get looked at a little funny if you're from out of town and you're taking somebody else's wave. And luckily, like, the whole town kind of looks out for me too. And there's been times where I'll be on the boardwalk and people will stop me, and it's like, wait a second, this is a little wild, because I never thought that I'd be in this position of like any sort of recognition, because it's just doing something that I like to do. And I didn't think that people would gravitate towards it as much as they have.
Yeah, well, you're kind of a big deal. Now, you know, you have many leather-bound books and your place smells of rich mahogany. Oh, sorry. Anchorman quote. I want to ask, to kind of wrap it up, like what has surprised you most on this journey of your surfing journey? Like what's been the most surprising thing for you?
I think more than anything, like I just said, like the fact that there's people that have no idea who I am otherwise, and they may stumble across my Instagram and then tell somebody that surfs, or it may be someone with a similar circumstance to myself as me, and then have people reach out and say, like, how do I get involved, and be able to get other people involved and just be an example of this. You may think that this isn't possible, but it is, and you're seeing it right in front of you, like Joey and Jesse were for myself, and be that for other people. And it could even be able-bodied people. I've had able-bodied people stop me and said, like, I didn't pay attention to surfing before. Now you've made me want to get involved, and just things like that. And being able to see the smiles of the different families and stuff that come down to the surf roll and just enjoy waves with people. That's the coolest part. But like the media attention and all that stuff is completely unexpected, because I'm pretty mellow and I don't like being the center of attention. Whereas in a lot of these circumstances, not that I'm forced to, but people are like, you have a story to tell and it needs to be told, and you tell it eloquently.
Yeah.
So please come be a part of this. Even sitting down with you today isn't something that I necessarily thought I would be doing over a decade ago.
Yeah, well, it's like sometimes you may not always want that responsibility, and sometimes it's thrust on you, but I think, our community is better for it. And like, you're, like you said, very eloquent in how you can tell this story. And I think it's important because, like we've also talked about, representation and being able to be seen, and to see it, you can believe it. And I think that's really important.
That's one of the coolest things for me is when I was young, there was nothing like this out there of in the media, the different outlets. So it wasn't widely known of, this is what's out there. This is like, these are the resources. Now with the internet and social media, and that was the entire point of the We the 15 campaign, was social media showcasing that athletes with a disability can do this, and this is their communities, and how social media plays a role in all this. It's grown a ridiculous amount from the time I was growing up, where you had to know Johnny from the physical therapy office to get you involved in whatever sport, to get you involved in the other sports. And it's still like that to an extent, but you're able to break through that door with the different things that are out there on the internet.
That's awesome. And Paralympics 2028, is that the goal that we're shooting for?
That's the goal we're shooting for.
Yeah, because that's going to be in LA, and that's going to be the first time that surfing could be in the Paralympics potentially, correct?
And a lot of the guys that are at the forefront now will be a little bit long in the tooth. So maybe I can knock them off their spot at that point.
You'll be hitting your peak. Well, gosh, I mean, if you keep having more wave pool sessions, I think, like your skills are going to be like, you're going to be able to surpass them, which is awesome.
And like I said, I don't want to undersell this. The coaching that I've had from everybody at Scoot and Surf, and just the encouragement, has been unbelievable to my growth and my confidence in the water and outside of the water. It's not just...
Of course. So, Dylan, where can our listeners find you and all your information?
So the easiest way to find me is just The Surfing Samurai on Instagram, and then we also have a website, thesurfingsamurai.com. www.swellseasonsurf.com. And if anybody's interested in having me come speak at a school or things like that, that's something that I enjoy most, because you're interacting